went to Spain. Laura's been on holiday. I've been on holiday. Just got back last night. Julie's arrived today, and the whole madness starts again. And my kitchen feels as though everybody's been in here all day. So I went to Ireland to spend some time with John's family, and it poured down for 2 weeks. Laura, get round here.
No, she can't stand next to me. I'm too white.
Laura went to Cornwall for a week and came back this colour. Could you imagine my face at 6 o'clock this morning when I saw her in the office? I went, so a cracking colour. Anyhow, we have got a fabulous night live tonight. We've got this fabulous lady in the kitchen. She's going to show you so many things. You're going to be completely dizzy. As per usual, we have a wish list on the website, the new website. So let's talk about the new website. Right, the new website came with its issues. We knew that. So, you know, some of you were really good, you worked with it, you understood it. It's like when you get anything new, you know, you've got to read the instructions, you've got to look at it. So, you know, so we've had 2 weeks of help. So while I've been in Ireland, we've been dealing with all the problems and all the issues. And in fairness, the first week, I think Laura nearly went under. It was chaotic. Everybody was ringing the office, but it's calmed down. Everybody's happy. The site, you don't need to cache it anymore. You've got to just recreate your account. That's the only thing. So 2 ladies have fell out with us because they have to recreate their account, which I find really amusing. Sorry ladies if you're watching. But unfortunately, we can't take all that information to the new website with us. Lots of new features on the new website, and there's a lot more features are coming as well. But we've not added them yet because we don't want to break things. We want you to get used to this website, and then we're going to add some more features, and then we'll get used to that, and we'll add another feature, and that's how it's going to go. But all the usual stuff's there. We hope that you like it. We've had loads of positive responses, how much easier it is to work, how pretty it is, and hopefully you enjoy it. So, are you looking forward to being in the kitchen?
I am. Amazing.
So
amazing.
This wonderful young lady is from Birmingham. So hello, you brummies.
Yay!
So is that what you do? Up the brums?
I'm not quite sure actually.
Down the brums?
So I
Which
would
one
like
is
to
it?
mention my partner Annette and my daughters Bianca, Crystal, Georgia, and my beautiful granddaughter Athara in Spain, and she's watching.
You've got to say hello to
Yeah,
them all.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Hi, babies.
Hi, girls. They're all girls as well, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, all
Fantastic.
girls.
Good. So I'm going to let Julie do her demo, but before we do that, I just want to tell you about some new things. And I want to remind you some things, because we're all back now off our holidays, so let's all get back to caking and baking. So talking about that, we are going to be at Cake and Bake at the end of the month, beginning of October. So we will be there. We'll have a full stand. We're going to have chocolate drip with us. We're going to have fake Cahill with us. We're going to have the sugar and crumbs with us. We're going to have nifty nozzles with us. We're going to have our fantastic team. Laura's not coming. Because she's going to her brother's wedding.
Yeah, I've got a good excuse.
But still, we're going to have a fantastic team with us. We're going to have a fantastic stand there. Make sure you do come and see us. And that is the weekend of the 3rd of October it starts, doesn't it? I'm a bit confused because I think we have to set off on the 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, we have a set-up day and then we have an open
Yeah,
day.
exactly. So I'm a bit confused with all the dates, but it's that first weekend in October, okay? And if you behave yourself, we might even go to Cake International. We'll have to see. So lots of new goodies in the kitchen. On the new website, you can see what's new. I was going to tell you about them. Look at this. A unicorn.
Adorable.
So this is a table centre unicorn, okay? And the legs come off. Look at that. How cool is that? I don't know why it's cool, but anyhow. Don't know why that's cool. I said to John had this in the car because we blew it up before we went away, and then he put it into his car. And then I said to him, oh God, I need to take that in tonight. So he passed me the legs. I went, what am I going to do with them? You've just broke the unicorn. And he said, no, it comes like that. So there you go. So it all blows up, goes on there. So this has been up 2 weeks, this, in the car. So I think this is fun. Who likes this?
It's adorable.
Cute, isn't she? I presume it's a she.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a boy, couldn't it? Boys wear pink as well now. I have
Wearing
no idea what anybody wears anymore. Give up. Right, anyhow, so there you go. So that's the unicorn. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Then we've got loads of new sprinkles. So Julie's eyes lit up with these.
Yeah.
So we've got loads and loads of new sprinkles. So look at all these. Now these are, which camera am I on, Laura? Are we under here?
I'm just going to show them the sprinkles,
Right.
yeah.
So loads and loads of sprinkles. This is party mix. These are pearl strands, micro pearls. We've got pinks, whites, blues. We've got a lovely red. How lovely is that for Christmas? We've got the rainbow nonpareils, the party mix there. What else have we got? Golds, look at them.
Lovely.
Okay, now these are, if we go back to this camera, these are all safe for vegetarians, vegan, halal diet, kosher, nut-free, everything. So these are perfect. You can use these, absolutely safe sprinkles. And they're all on the website. They're all in the what's new, they're all on the wash list. I've not got time to go through them all, but make sure you go and have a look. But I know Julie came in and she said, oh, I need some sprinkles. Look at that lovely green. Love that green for Christmas. That green one,
I've got cake to do tomorrow for Wednesday. Sprinkles, so that's great.
Yeah, so she's going home with all these. So that lovely green's really nice, isn't it, for Christmassy ones? So, and I'll be using them this week because I'm in the kitchen all this week doing new nifty nozzle pictures. So I've got hundreds of cakes to decorate with some new colours for nifty nozzles. So we're going to do those. We've got the pink boards in. This is your groove board for your veining. This is your little small board for your little flowering. We've got all sorts of things flowering. Flowering's not right, is it?
No.
Whatever it is.
No.
Who cares? Too tired. We're late. So, and then what else do I need to tell you about? Cake classes. So the cake season started again. If you want to book on a cake class with us, okay, please ring us, book online. If it's too much for you to pay all at once, call me and I'm happy to do some terms. So I'm happy to take it in 2 payments, and I'm actually happy to take 1 payment now and 1 payment the week after class. Nobody ever does that. I've got spaces on Valerie and Christina's class, Queen of Hearts class. This is one of their classes. This is the this is a cake I did, I think, either last year or the year before, and it's faded now because it's a dummy cake. But this class is on. This is called the stained glass cake, which is fantastic. We've got the beautiful floral cupcakes, and we've got a brand new 2D hand painted cake. We've got Hilary Hurston in October, fantastic lady. She's going to show you the gilded, it's a big gold gilded cake and a massive big peony on the top. It's beautiful. And of course, we've got Natalie Porter. Where would we be if we didn't have Natalie in? She's in doing her Antlers class, which is the big blue class. So if you want to come on those classes and you want to book on, if you want to book on and pay all at once, that's great. If you want to pay in 2 halves, ring Laura, speak to her into the office. We'll take half a payment now and half a payment the month after. And then that way you're spreading it over the next 2 months because we realise we're very close. Okay, you've got that. What else do I need to tell you before we get going? I don't know. I'll start shouting them all out when we get going. So Julie, it's your time to shine.
Thank you.
She's got so many things to show you. She's going to use cake lace, she's going to steam, she's going to model, she's going to do it all.
Oh my
I'll
God.
catch up with you.
Okay.
Right, Julie, get going.
Right, okay.
Oh, and first of all, tell them about your fabulous group.
Oh yeah.
Tell them how long you've been in the business.
Okay, so I've been making cakes full time about 9 years. I have a small unit in Birmingham where I don't just make cakes, I supply wedding decor, party decor, etc. And I've got a fabulous subscription group, so if you do want to join it, I will give you details at the end of it. I won't go at the minute. But today, what we're going to be doing, my favourite things are, we're going to do some quilting, we're going to make a bow, we're going to make a baby, we're going to use some cake lace, we're going to fill, frost, ice a cake. We're going to be doing lots of things. We're going to be using smoothers, we're going to be using royal icing, loads and loads of things. Products that I love to use, I'm a Renshaw's fan, so everything that we see today will be Renshaw's. I've been using it about 9 years and I'm a great believer. There's nothing wrong with the icing, it's the person that's doing it. So there's no excuses for elephant skin, whatever you do. So I'm going to start now. Okay, so we're going to be doing a 3-tier cake. I've got a 9, a 7 inch round cake, 3 inches deep, and I've got an oval shaped cake which I'm going to show you in a minute. But before I start that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some cake lace. Now this is a new mat that's just out. It's called the Bonnie Baby Cake Lace Mat. Okay, and I'm going to be using some pearlised lace, which is actually by Cake Lace. I'm just going to put this on now with a smoother, and then it's going to pop in the oven for approximately around about 15 minutes, I think. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's get cracking. Any questions along the way, you'll have to fire them out at me, and
We're
there we
ready.
go.
That's
Okay,
fine,
right,
we
let's
will
turn
do.
this round.
So just while you just get set up, I'm going to let Laura shout out a hello to everybody because they've missed us.
Yeah, we've got a massive audience already. We're just under 300 viewers. We've missed you as much as you've missed us. We know you miss us. But yeah, we've got a great audience. And if anyone is new to the Facebook Live tonight, just say hi, introduce yourself. We've got a really friendly community bunch here. And if you've got any questions that are relevant to the live this evening, don't be afraid to ask them. We will try and get around to the questions, but as I'm sure you can appreciate, the feed moves very, very quickly. So if we do miss you, we'll try and catch up later on in the week. We do go through the comments and the questions, and I'm sure Julie will as well if you direct anything directly to her, if you've got any questions or anything like that. So just as a very quick recap, like I say, if you are new, anything that happens in the Sugar and Crumbs kitchen stays in the Sugar and Crumbs kitchen. So the cakes are fresh, but they're not for sale. They're not going to be given to anybody unless we're lucky enough to get them out of the kitchen past ourselves, because they normally get eaten
really
first.
Nice to me, I might leave it for you.
There we go. Everybody, you heard that was live recorded.
It's staying. She's got to get past them electronic gates.
Yeah, they won't let me out. Keep that me.
So yeah, don't be worried about hair being down or anyone touching their face or anything like that. It really is. It is up. Don't worry. But yeah, you really don't need to worry about anything like that. It is all in a personal kitchen, and like I say, it's just a personal consumption.
All right, I haven't decided quite which one I'm going to
Got to
use.
laugh at Karen Place. Just let me say,
Sorry.
I thought it was funny you said we're going to be making a baby tonight. And Karen Place says, I hope it's after 9 p.m.
Oh God!
I was going to make a comment
pick up on that bit.
I picked up on it. I thought, right, okay then.
A slip of the tongue, slip of the tongue. Right, okay, I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to use, but whatever which one I decide to use, there's teddies, there's bells and rattles and teddies, and there's prams. I'll have to do a couple of these anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll get the first one in the oven, and then once we've got this in the oven, we're going to make the baby out of icing,
Right.
everybody.
Well, before you do that, just tell us exactly what you've done there, because we were that busy talking.
So basically all I've done there is I've actually just placed the cake lace into the mat, and there's actually there's 6 designs on here. I've put 3 of them. I think I'm going to use the teddy one, but I've actually put the cake lace in 3 of them. So you don't need to put all of that in, obviously, because it's a waste. Depending on also looking at the cake lace mat, some of them are deeper than others, so some of them are taken longer to actually harden up before than others, because obviously some of them are not as deep. So I've tried to use the ones that are not as deep, so it will have an even heat on it. So I'm going to place those in the oven for approximately about 15 minutes. We'll have a look in 15 minutes time, and then I'll show you what to do, how to take the cake lace out in a minute, and then we'll do it all over again.
Right, yeah, because when we do it all over again, we'll do it slower and show them.
Okay.
Because cake lace is one of those things that I either am successful or not.
Yeah,
So-
well, I will be honest, this is a brand new mat out, so I've not used this one myself actually. I only took out the wrapper yesterday. So, but sometimes, you know, people do have trouble with cake lace, and if you do have trouble, there's nothing wrong with actually putting another layer on top.
I've heard that.
So put it in the oven for about 10 minutes and then take it back out again. You can leave them to dry overnight, because obviously we're on a time scale tonight. You can put them in the oven. But what you also must remember is that don't put it on a heat. It is only to warm it. Okay, because if you put it at heat, you're going to have a melted mat.
Yeah.
So I normally put cake lace on at about 80 degrees.
Right, when you say 80, mine's a fan assisted oven.
Yeah, mine's fan, 80
Right, good.
degrees.
So it's on 80
Yeah,
then.
yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in the oven.
Yeah.
Are you alright?
Yep, super duper.
Which one is it? This one?
That first one.
She said this when... Actually, this is on quite warm, Carol.
I know what I was thinking that.
I think this is on too warm. It's on 120. You did.
Oh my god, 80's up there.
Yeah. I think it's a bit too hot to go in. Right.
Should we-
just leave that one on
I
the
didn't
side?
realise 80 was the first button.
Yeah, I think that's a bit hot.
Yeah.
And I won't have any lace mat left.
Let me turn this oven on.
Okay, so it's not going in the oven at the minute because Carol has actually put the lace on it.
How long do you want it in there? How long do you want it to warm up for?
Just 5 minutes or something
Right, I'll
like
stick
that.
it in this.
Otherwise we won't have a lace mat at all. It'll be cooked. Okay, so let's
You
just
could
put
get
this away.
worse. You could ask me to make ganache and then we have different ones.
Right, okay. If we can just get a cloth as
Yeah.
Put this off, please.
So we've got a brilliant audience. We're now over 300. We've got loads of people saying that they're looking forward to watch what you are making this evening. I know we are going to pack absolutely loads in. We're making the most of Julie while she's here.
She was foolish enough to say she'll come back.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We've got us all in. Let's save the date. Right.
I've got a couple of people saying hello. So I've got Julie Davies saying hi. I've got Elaine Wall. I've got your daughter Bianca.
Hello, Bianca, my baby girl.
Maureen Bailey, Carol Thoburn. She says no swearing, Julie.
Me? No, never. Never.
Chris Greatbanks, Vicky Buffum. So yeah, we've got lots of people watching us tonight, and I think we've got a couple of newbies as well.
We've got a new lady who's become addicted. I just saw her.
Just seen that, yeah, Jamie Lee Merry.
Yeah.
I'm new and I love this company. I'm sorry, I've just missed the post. Become really addicted. I have to hide my phone from my husband.
Right, Jules, do you want me to put this in the oven now?
Yes, please, if you would, yeah. So what I'm using now is I've got Saraceno pasta modelling paste. Okay, this is skin colour, and you can just take it straight out the pot. It's brilliant to use, and you need to just knead it together so it's nice and smooth. And then what I'm going to do is I've actually got a Karen Davis mould here. I think these are the best moulds for a baby. Okay, the perfect size, and the detail on them is phenomenal. And then we're going to be using the pillow as well here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into the mould. I'm going to do both sides, and I'm not going to do the pillow now because I want it to be a bit flexible. Although Saraceno it does stay quite flexible for quite a long time. Yeah. So I'm just going to roll this up like this.
Sorry,
okay.
I'm just trying to get a bottle of water out.
And we're literally just going to place it into the mould like this. Okay, now I've actually put too much in there, but never mind, that doesn't matter.
Jules, just bring that mould more into the centre
Yes,
for me.
sorry.
That's fine.
You need
Perfect.
to be just right under
That's
the camera
it.
in front of you,
Just
Jules.
there.
Yeah,
okay.
perfect.
I've got a sharp knife. Right, so I can use this. Okay, I've got my lovely little spatula, one of my favourites.
That is a knife that everybody needs to have.
Yeah,
it's so useful for
an
everything.
essential.
So while Jules is cutting this with a palette knife, you must never bring a sharp knife to your moulds. Okay, it's so easy to use a craft knife or something else, but don't use it on your moulds. Always use a palette knife or a bluntish knife, but this little gizmo is fantastic.
I always think that the three tools that you need and most necessity are your little palette knife, a Schreiber pin, and my little, where's it gone?
Interchangeable head thing.
Yeah, my knife, my little, oh my goodness,
Your craft
my
knife.
life is going to end without
Your craft
it.
knife.
Yeah,
Knife is there.
it is.
It
The
was
little
there.
blade, the blade one.
Yeah, it was there.
Oh well, it's disappeared now.
We probably
Anyway,
can't see it for looking.
well, we'll need it at some point. So I'm just going to cut this off. Just bring it all into the middle. I have actually put Trex in the mould just for reference, so you know. It makes it a bit easier for it to come out. Okay, and just smooth that out there. Okay, and I'm going to do the other side. I did actually put the Trex in before we actually started, so just for reference, you put a bit of Trex in. You can also put a little bit of Trex and corn flour in. I normally find that Trex works brilliantly, so I'm just going to put that in the other side here. It's disappeared. Oh my god, my life is going to come to an end.
It'd be right under our nose.
Yeah, it will be here somewhere because I did have it,
Yeah.
and I will need it at some point. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave them for a few minutes in there, and then I'm going to come back to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually frost one of the cakes, and when I come back, I'm going to actually take that out of the mould. So I'm just going to put that to a side for a minute and put this away. I don't know where it's gone, Carol.
No, it was here. I think I'm down on the side of the thing.
Okay. All right. With regards to the
There it
cakes
is.
then. Aha, you see.
There you go.
Let's put that away.
Right next to that thing. What's that thing? What's this?
I'll just leave it over there. Okay, right. So the cakes that we're going to be doing today, I've got a 9-inch round, a 7-inch
Thought it was a
round,
radio.
and I've got a little oval cake shapes. cake, okay, and that is what we're going to make our cradle from. Okay, I haven't quite decided what we're going to do with regards to which way of order, but we are going to be doing some quilting, and as I say, we're going to be doing a lace. I'm going to show you how to make a bow as well. So, just a little trick of mine that I've always used, and the girls that are on my subscription group, just little things like this are really, really helpful. So when before I bake a cake, I always line my tins round the side and at the bottom. And what I normally do is I normally leave a little gap there, just in the side there. And what that does is when you take the lining off, if you can see, it actually marks your cake.
Ah.
Okay, so you see there's a little line on the cake there.
Underneath there on that camera.
So you can see there. All right, and what that enables you to do is when you cut it in half, you haven't got to worry about actually lining it up because there's a little mark on your cake, and that's just a little tip that I've done. I don't know, I don't even know where I got it from, it's just something that I've done always. Okay, just as important to the top of the cake being straight, your bottom of your cake is really important. Am I looking at the right place?
Me.
Here.
You always look at Laura.
Look at me.
But you show under there.
Okay, so this is the bottom of the cake, and when the cake was baked, it would have risen up like this, and then I cut it across in my tin. I always cut my cakes warm. As soon as they come out, I cut it across and I put it out onto a cooling rack. Okay, but as you can see, the edges are not quite straight there. So I have got, I love knives, a nice PME knife which I'm going to use, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the shavings of the cake there, but watch, don't cut your hands, mind. Okay.
You won't need to film that.
And that will just flatten off the bottom of your cake. Okay. All right, and I'm going to do that on all three of the cakes. So we'll start with that one first, and then we'll do this one. Okay, again, you can see the gap in the lining there, so I'm going to take that away.
Can you just turn the gap round to
Yep.
that camera that's on your side?
Yep, there we go.
That's it, perfect.
You see it there.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. And if anybody's wondering about what the little hole in the middle of this cake is actually a heating core that I've used.
Do you use one of them?
Yeah. Anything 9 inches or above, well, yeah, 9 inches or above, I normally put a heating core in. And what a heating core does is it helps to distribute the heat evenly, so you get a nice even bake all the way through. Especially if you're baking deeper cakes like 4-inch cakes or 5-inch cakes, it really is a necessity, I think, to use a heating core. So although they're not that, you could say, oh well, there's not that much difference in the cake at the bottom. I really can't stress enough that that is a real necessity to do, because like I say, if the bottom of your cake isn't even, your top of your cake's not going to be even. And when it's not so bad if you're just doing a single tier, but if you're doing stacking a cake like I'm going to do, if it's not even at the bottom, you've got no chance of it being even at the top. Okay, so we're going to do that one.
I never even knew they were not even at the bottom.
It's just as the way they've been cut.
I was going to say, if you think about it, it's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, and even on my little
I like the
over.
rustic look, me. Slap them together. Eh?
So-
Slap them together. There you go,
Even
girls.
on my little oval cake, which we're going to make into a crib. Okay, I've even done it there. You can see there. You see where? Oh,
Right.
There. Okay.
Keep still
Stop.
when you show it.
Stop.
And
Stop.
you've got to give it 10 seconds on each
Give me
camera.
a few seconds
Okay,
to get
you
on
can-
the right
you-
Under
camera.
that camera.
You can see that it doesn't really matter. That this
Julie.
one here-
No, yeah,
This
stop.
one.
Stop.
Stay still.
Just stop.
Turkish like the dancing queen.
Tell me about it.
Just stay still. We're
Stop.
guiding.
I'm doing
Stay
it
under
slow.
this camera.
Okay, I'm on slow.
Crikey, I'm dizzy, me. This is much my life. I've been here an hour.
Oh dear.
I'm going for a lie down after. Might
We'll
go for a lie down.
I'm not going to drive back. Right, okay,
Right,
so
and
the
is that
last
under
one.
this camera?
Yeah, I'm on it,
Yeah.
don't worry. I'm on
Okay,
it.
so for the last one, so we're all done now. So those 3 cakes there are all level at the bottom. Okay, let's get rid of some of these crumbs. Have we got? Where's the bin?
There's a bin behind you, Shelley. Just
Can
grab
I
the
just
bin.
have that down here?
Yeah, you can.
It's handy.
Throw everything in there.
Okay, great stuff. All right, okay, before we start, okay, what I'm going to do is I've got boards, cake boards, or what they call stacking boards for each of these. So I've got a 7-inch that's going to go under there, and I've got, could you just pass us that, Carol, the 9-inch board under there.
And just to
Right,
let you know, we're on over 400 people watching you.
Well done. Brilliant.
So we've got a great audience, 400 people, Laura, on our first Monday
Fabulous.
back. How good is
Told
that?
you they'd missed
It's
us.
because it's me,
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a 9-inch stacking board and I've got a 7-inch stacking board. Now, unfortunately, boards don't come in this shape. So, Carol has nicely supplied me with a little round board, which I'm going to cut. Okay, and this is where my knife comes in handy. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut round there like that. Am I under the camera?
Yep.
Right, Jules, Shelley's going to start muzzling in over your shoulder now.
If she don't start breathing heavy, I'm all right. Okay.
And Louise O'Rourke says, you're so fast that she might have to slow down the video as well. Right.
My group do tell me that I am quite quick at working, so, and although I've done lots of live tutorials in the past, I actually feel a little bit nervous, but I'm sure I'll calm down.
You're fine, don't worry.
Everybody's nervous when they come in here, so don't worry.
Right, so I'm just cutting this. Okay.
Shelley and Laura's still nervous. Laura's been here 2 years.
No. It was my 2 year last week.
Is it? Was your anniversary while you were on holiday? Oh.
Happy anniversary.
We're going to get her on demos. If she doesn't, she might not last another year.
Okay, there we go. All right, that's brilliant. I'll
Good,
just
good.
put that in the bin there. Okay, so that's going to be our board for our crib. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start by actually making the crib first.
And just let me ask, how long do you need it in the oven? 825 it went in.
Around about 15 minutes, I think would be fine for that.
We're about 12, I think,
Okay.
then.
Yeah, we'll check it in a few minutes. All right, and I'm going to take those babies out as well in a minute, so we'll do that in a minute. Right, before we start, okay, on the rest of the cakes, what I've got here is I've got an oval, and it is this size, approximately about 5.5 inches long. Okay. Now, normally, well, you'll see when I do the other cakes, I won't actually take the lining off the top of the cake, and I do that for a reason, which I will come to that in a minute. But with this one, I'm going to take it off straight away, and the reason why I'm going to take it off is because I want to cut a little hole in there. Right. Okay, so, you know, when I'm at work, I have my bin to my right.
Well, take the bin to the right then.
So I keep going to put it to the right.
Because I'm not dizzy dancing around here. Poor Shelley doesn't know where she's going anymore.
Okay, so I've got a PME overcutter here, which are brilliant. Okay, and literally I'm just going to put it into the cake there, and I'm just going to press down. Okay, and then with my little knife, my little spatula, going back to it, I'm literally going to cut on the inside, try and do an even cut, i.e. the depth. Okay, and then if you push it down a bit more, it'll go in further, and I want it to be the depth of the cutter. Okay, so now my cutter is actually level with the cake now. All right, so before I take the cutter off, I'm just literally going to go in, and I'm going to take this cake away. And I can't stress enough how much you should have one of these. You need one of these, girls, because I think they're...
Just show it slowly under that camera.
Yeah, this one here. So
Yeah,
PME.
that's it.
Yeah, just hold
Okay.
it. Yeah.
And I'm just going to cut this out until I get it even. Now, it's not even at the minute, but it will be. Okay, and I'm going to cut it to the depth of where the cutter finishes. And the reason why I'm keeping this cutter in is because it's holding the outside of the cake. So all of a sudden we've got an outer that is quite fragile. So I'm just going to leave that there a minute, and it'll just provide it some stability. And in the meantime, we're just going to pick out this sponge here.
So a few people are just asking what we're going to make tonight. We're making a 3-tier cake, and one of them is actually going to be a baby's cot. Jules is going to use the dragé kit. She's going to use Patchwork Cutters quilting set. You can also use Katie Sue quilting mould if you prefer to use that. We're going to make swags and bows. We're using cake lace. Lots of skills here tonight. So lots of things. We won't be repeating anything. We're just going to try and show you.
Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just pressing the sponge down so it's nice and even. Okay, and now I'm going to remove that. And there we've got, that is where the baby is going to lie. Okay.
Ah, very good.
Right. Okay.
I thought you was going to cut all the way around that and make a smaller oval for some reason.
No.
Right.
Right. If anybody else was here, they'd be going, save the crumbs for me.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. I didn't even get the
They were
opportunity to get
the only
it from
crumbs
them.
you would have got then.
Did you see that? How we never got a crumb then. That was
You
it.
can get them
Gone,
on the
wasn't it?
bin if you want.
Right, that'd be good for my diet. That. Stick them in the bin before I've even had a chance to have a sniff
Okay,
on.
so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut this in half. I'll use the buttercream that you've made, Carol.
Strawberry milkshake.
So we're going to be using strawberry milkshake buttercream. Okay, so I'm going to use my cutter, wherever it is. Okay. Alright, and I'm literally going to cut this in half, okay? So with your hand just at the back there, just literally going to go along there and cut it in half, okay? And there we go. Alright,
Fantastic. What about your cake lace?
we'll have a look at the cake lace. We're in a different oven now. Okay, that's come off, that's fab. Alright, if I can just move this out of the way, I will bring it in, but I'll have to clear the surface off.
Yeah. Do you want me to clear the surface off for you?
It's actually come off right off. So maybe that was a bit too long, but it has come off really, really easy. So if I just clean the surface off and I'll show you. Right, just a tip for you, whenever you take cake lace out the oven, especially the pearlised lace, it's quite brittle. So you must let it come back to room temperature. If you don't let it come back to room temperature, as soon as you start moving it or messing it, it will break. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that for a few minutes, and when that has cooled down and come back to room temperature, I'm going to bring it in and I'll show it to you. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to frost this little crib. So, Carol, is this mine?
It's yours. I've taken it off the mixer so you can bring it over.
Okay, great.
And don't forget you got your jam there.
Okay, lovely. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to put a little bit of buttercream just at the bottom here, and we're just going to place that onto there. Right. And we're just going to put that onto there. Now, I'd actually like to have a bit of water next to me, which I have got somewhere. Oh yeah, it's there. Okay, just in case sometimes it might be a bit, you know, depending on what your room temperature's like, and your buttercream might be a bit hard, or just to smooth it out, I like to have some water next to me because I just think that it just makes it easier. And when I'm frosting, I always frost right to the edges, so you've got a bit hanging over the sides. Now, if we go back to where we was when we took the lining off, we've got a little hole, a little line, sorry, there, and that's how I know which end to join up, because we've got one there and we've got one there, okay? And we're just going to place that. I'm not going to put jam in this one. I'm going to do it in the other ones, okay? Because it's only a little cake and I think it'll be okay as it is. All right, so then what we're going to do is I'm pressing down very, very gently, because you've got to remember, in fact, I'm going to put that back in there, just to give it some stability. What you've got to remember is that these outsides are quite fragile.
Do you want a turntable?
No, I'm all right. Okay, and I'm just literally going to... I'm short as it is, I
No,
can't reach as it is. If I'm a turntable, I won't be able to see it. I won't be able to do it like that. Okay, so I'm just going to frost this cake all the way around, using my water to smooth it out. And the bits that have come out the sides, use that to cover in the gaps, okay? I see a lot of people that have got massive bulges in cakes. One of the reasons is because you've put too much cream in.
Yeah.
And the second reason is because you're not utilising the bit that comes out to actually fill the gap in.
No.
So I always press down like that, very, very lightly. I'm going to do it a lot more firmer on the other cakes, but I'm just being a bit more careful with this because we've got a very fragile edge on here. And I'm just going to frost all the way down, including the top when I get round to it. So I'm just going to go round like this, all the way round. Oh, it's going everywhere, Carol.
They're saying I should be getting you a box to stand on. Would you like one?
You're funny, you are.
These lot on here, give her a step, give her a box.
Yeah, a
Lift
little.
her up.
What if I put on a fag end?
That side, maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you, sorry.
She's in my way. Everything she wants to film it. Right, okay. So I'm just going to smooth that round with a bit of water.
That's a good idea, that, you know, I like that
And
idea.
it just
Yeah,
helps
it
to
is.
smooth it out a lot more easier. Okay, now I'm going to take this off.
Do you know what? We have so many guests on here with all different ideas. And you do train. You just got to find the one that suits you, haven't you?
Yeah.
But I like that idea.
And what you find when you've got a bare sponge like this, the sponge will drag.
Yeah.
So with the water, that helps to
Push it down.
To push it down, and you're not dragging the sponge up.
Yeah.
If I just did that with butter icing, the sponge would start lifting onto the
well, it
palette
does,
knife.
yeah.
So it's just little tips that I've picked up over the time I've been making cakes. I've never had any lessons. I'm self-taught, and I wish that there was lots of people like you about when I started. Because,
Thanks very much, Julie. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, because it is difficult.
I think lots of people like us as well.
Well, I
I'm
think
fishing
so.
for compliments, everybody. That's what it means. When I give you the cue, that's when you put your thumbs up and tell us how much you love us.
Because cake making is a very lonely job.
It is.
And you know, when you're out
I think
there,
it sends women mad.
Yeah, well, I was mad before. I'm even worse now. But when you're on your own working and something does go wrong, it's nice to have somebody just to, like, you know, not necessarily pick up the phone but drop a message. I know my girls on my group, they message me all the time.
Have we got both your girls watching? We've got Bianca, Jade here now.
Yeah, Bianca was watching before.
Georgia.
See how my group behave themselves. Look at that. Gave them the hint, the thumbs up and the love hearts are coming. There you go. That's what we like.
I'm jealous now. I want some
Look
love
at them.
hearts.
Look, they're all going there.
Okay, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that one to the side, and while we've got so much mess out, I am actually going to frost the other cakes, we might as well. And then what we'll do is we'll clear up and then we'll start icing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to put that one to the side. In fact, no, you wanted to see the lace, didn't you? So we'll just clear up
Do you want to
first.
go? Well, we can do the lace after, it's fine.
I know, but I need to get some more in.
Oh, okay. Clear
I'll
up.
just put that in there.
Yep, so while she's clearing up, I'm so pleased to see so many of you back. It's been fantastic. And I'm so pleased that you love our Facebook Lives. It's great. So as Laura says, if you are new to watching our Facebook Lives, we call it light entertainment. So basically, we're educating you. You know what, we have lots of different tutors in all the time. They all have different ways of doing their own things. I'm a great believer. Pick up the tips and use what works for you. We're not asking you to change your mind. We're just asking you to have a look at things different ways. And that's what this live's about. And it's about having a laugh. We don't want to be boring. We don't want to be... I'm actually not going to say it. I was going to say finger up my bum then. But I don't want to be snooty, okay? What we want to do is have a really good laugh, and that's why we get some great guests on. And you know, we've never had a bad guest. We've never had a bad guest. Every guest that's come on, every guest that's come on Sugar and Crumbs has been great. Laura, do we got this one?
Okay, so this has come back to room temperature. Now, the only thing with the pearlised lace is that it does get quite brittle, and I can't stress enough that you must not mess with it until it cools down. Because
Right, well that's interesting that, because I've taken it out of the oven and messed with it straight away.
Yeah. But if you actually tried to put this round your cake when it was warm, okay, it would break. As you can see, it's nice and flexible now, and we are actually going to steam that on later. And I do quite fancy the teddy bear, so I
that's
think
really cute, isn't
what
it?
we're going to do is
just hold it still under there, just so they can see. Just take, yeah. And what else have we got there?
So I've actually done this one here, this other border as well, which is rattles and teddy bears, I think.
Yeah.
It's got baby's feet on as well, which is really, really nice. And the other one that I did, although I think Carol's actually ruined this one because she put her hands in it. Look, because it's broken. But it is, look how fabulous that is. Look at the detail on that. Okay, so you've got teddies, rattles and prams. And if it was intact, we possibly could have used that. But I think Carol's been a bit brutal with it actually when she took it out.
How long has she been here? How long has she been here?
She said she was coming back, but I'm not so sure now.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this lace to the side. Okay, and I'm going to put some more in, but I do think that maybe a little less time this time, because I've not used this lace mask, so about 12 minutes I think should be fine.
Okay, so if we take that off, and then can we just do it slower when you put it on?
Slower. So I'm just going to move this out the way.
Yeah, so the lives are just great fun. It's educational. It's about having fun. It's about joining in. We're not interested in anybody who's going to be negative. If you're going to be negative, go and buzz off to another group. There's plenty of negative groups out there. We only like the fun people who are enjoying the live, okay? And all we want you to do is get some inspiration, learn some new tips. If you use them, great. If you don't use them, and of course, everything that we use is on our website, and we are promoting our website. That's why we do these lives. We do them so that we can show you products before you decide to buy. So I'm just going to shut up while Julie does this.
Okay, I'm going to go in slow-mo now. Right, I'm going to go. slow for Carol.
Let me say this.
She's stressing.
Trish Collins says, so good to be back. I've just got rid of the husband as he was waiting for the baby making bit. He's disappointed. It was sugar.
Right. I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to use, so I think I'm going to do the two. So I'm going to do the Teddy and Feet and the Rattles, and I'm going to do the Teddy and the Rattles, but I think the Teddy and the Rattles is going to be the winner.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do these two. As I say, you don't need to do the whole mat.
And how much would you put on there, Julie?
Just literally scrape it in and scrape it off. What you don't want is, if you can see there in the camera, there's like little holes there, just there.
You see that?
So you need to cover them all up so it is completely covered. Now, I'm no expert on lace, but I have used a lot of lace, and it all depends. It's a case of trial and error. Depends on how deep the imprint is.
Yeah.
If you look at the little feet there, that would take a lot longer than the rest of this. But this is a really nice fine mat. So, as I say, I think around about, I think this time, although it's fine, it was a bit crispy when it come out, but I think around about 12 minutes for this on 80 degrees would be ample.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I find that I'm hit and miss. I only had a go at lace about 5-6 years ago first, when I first started Sugar and Crumbs. I had a go and I wrecked it all the first night, and I put it away and I never got it out again.
Oh no, it's fabulous.
And I've never got it out again. And the lady who watches us, she said, do you do any cake lace lessons? And I said, no. So she said, oh, I really want a cake lace lesson. I said, I'll tell you what, come up for the day, we'll have a play together.
That's the best way of doing it though, sometimes, isn't it? When there's no pressure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm quite addicted to lace. I've only got 75 lace mats.
Have you?
Oh my God.
And the girls that are in my group, they do know that whatever comes out, me Julie has to have it. I have to have every single lace mat. And I only noticed this last week, and I went, I've got to have it, and I'm going to take it up to show Carol, but you've already got it anyway. So, but I didn't know this one was out. So this is going to go in the oven for approximately 12 minutes on 80 degrees, guys.
Yeah, so in case you didn't hear, it's going in the oven for 12 minutes on 80 degrees.
Okay.
Catherine Sasha, is that bit there getting on your nerves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, before we move on, so someone's just said, do you pop it on a tray or straight onto
No,
the
straight
oven
on, straight onto
on
the oven rack, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I nearly forgot about my little babies. Okay, so I'm going to actually just push these out the mould now. Okay.
So let me just tell you, the tool that Jules was using...
I need you to come forward, sorry. Yeah.
And don't put your head
Yeah.
under the camera.
Sorry, they don't want to come out now because I forgot all about the babies. It's a good job they're not real. They'll be crying now. Right, okay, come on. There we go. All right, so we're getting the face out here, the face side. It comes in two
It's like
halves.
delivering a baby, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's hard work.
She's coming,
This is.
she's
Oh
dead
my
first.
God, it's here. It's arrived.
Oh.
Right, okay. The legs are stuck. Don't start me off, because if you start me off, I won't be able to see you. I'm just going to head for you. Okay, so as you can see, look. Oh.
Caroline Thornton, it's a girl!
Okay, as you can see, the detail on these is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so this is a Karen Davis mould. I say we're going to use the pillar at a later date, and basically two halves. Okay, but we need to put it together.
Richard Crompton said, it's twins! No, Richard! It's not. You're going to put it together.
With Saraceno being quite a moist modelling paste, I don't normally use glue, to be fair, although you can use a little bit of glue, and you just literally, what we're going to do is we're going to try and get rid of all that join there. Yeah. I'm going to stroke her bottom, put her to sleep, and then we're just going to push it together there. And we might even put a nappy on her or a frilly pants on at a later date. Alright, so we're just going to push that there. Alright, and we'll give her some detail later, maybe give her some eyes and some nice pink cheeks and some lips. Alright, but basically, you're not actually going to see, you're only going to see this bit here, because it's actually going to be in the crib and the head's going to be on the pillow.
Right.
And then we're going to cover this bit up. So I very likely won't put any clothes on her actually, she'll be a naked baby. She's going to go under a quilt, okay. So we're just going to put that to one side, okay, and we'll come back to her later. All right, and now we're going to crack on with the other two cakes.
Super.
Okay, so we cut our bottoms earlier. We did good. You laughing? You're laughing in the corner there.
Bottoms.
Or you always have to cut your bottoms. Okay, and again, just holding your hand at the other side. Oh dear. I'm not used to working in such a small surface. I've normally got like loads and loads of room. It's making me stay tidy. She's saying, is this not tidy? Okay, and the other side, the same. Holding your hand there, and I'm holding my hand there for a reason, so it doesn't pull the sponge and drag. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to one side. All right. Okay.
So just while Julie's telling you about doing the next cake, the spreader is a cake lace spreader, and I've got to be honest, I didn't put it on the wish list. I didn't even think about it. So if you go to brands, or if you go to the search button, if you go to the search button and put cake lace spreader, I think it's called. Is it called spreader? I don't know.
I'll check.
But if you go to actual brands cake lace, it will actually be there, and I'll pop it in the wish list afterwards. Sorry, Jules, I'll let you carry on.
Okay, the reason why I've got a gap there is because this board that they've given me to work on is not big enough. Okay, so it slipped off the board.
Who gave you that board?
You give me this board. I need a big board. I need a
Ah,
whole
right.
surface.
Oh, sorry.
So my cutout, basically, it shouldn't be like that, but it doesn't matter. We'll just cover it up. I'm only joking. I'm a bit, try and be a bit of a joker.
Yeah. No worries. No, do you know what I was thinking? The cake board. I was thinking, I don't remember giving you a cake board. You're talking about the green board.
No, the
aren't
green
you?
board, yeah, because I actually work on stainless steel tables, so
Ah, right,
it's
yeah.
it's
See, the
very
thing
new
is,
to me.
the reason we have the green board is we can't have the white worktop.
Right.
Because it's sparkling, it reflects back.
Well, that's because you're posh.
It was a good idea having a lovely, nice white
Just a
worktop.
posh bird.
But then it causes other problems when we're filming.
Okay, so when you're putting your buttercream on, all right, you know, don't be a Scrooge. You know, you need to put quite a bit on, but don't put too much on.
Are you
all
putting
right?
jam on? Are you?
I am going to put jam on in a minute, but I never put jam on top of there.
Do you not?
No, I never put jam on top of there. And the reason why I don't put jam on top of there is if you put jam on the top, as well as the buttercream splurging out the sides, the jam will. So we're going to move that round and we're going to turn that upside down. And I
Right.
always put jam on there.
And why would it not splurge out then?
I don't
Right,
know.
it's called a cake lace spreading knife. It's $5.99, and I will put it in the wish list later. But otherwise, if you just go to brands, it's actually on brands, and it's a spreading knife if you want to use the search button. So how come if you just turned it upside down?
So I've turned it upside down, and what's happening is the flavour of the jam now is sinking into the sponge. Okay, and the jam is going to sink into there. So when I turn it over, and I don't always put, like I put the buttercream going right to the edge, I don't actually put the jam so that's right over the edge either. But I always find that if you actually put it onto the cream, when you press your cake down, it all comes out the sides, and then when you're frosting jam as well, and you don't really want to do that. So I always do it like this. It's tried and tested, hundreds and hundreds of cakes, and it's my Julie way. Okay, all right, going back to my little tip that I showed you in the beginning, I'm just going to move that more central to the board, and there's my line net there, look. Can you see?
No.
No, because
Can't
she showed you.
Right, okay. There.
The camera's there.
Show me on this one,
This
right?
one here.
Julie, this camera.
Oh, that one there!
Just stay still.
I didn't even know there was a camera that one.
We've got you all ways, Jules.
Right.
Eh? So I've got one underneath as well, looking up.
Where are we? There.
Stop. Where do you want to be? Stop.
Can you just
know.
stop moving? We've
And
got
I'll
to
come
give.
to you. Stop. So
Stop.
good.
We want
There.
10 seconds.
Still preferably, but yes, we've got the line.
You got the line.
We've got the line.
So now I'm going to turn it upside back round the right way round. Okay. And this is the reason why I never took this off here.
Right, there's a lady asking a question. Don't you sugar soak layers first?
No, never.
No. I think you only really need to sugar soak layers, and I'm probably going to get my arse kicked for this one. So if your cake's dry. But, but if your cake's a moist cake, you don't need to sugar soak it, do you?
Okay, so I've lined it up there, and the reason, going back to the reason why I never took the lining off in the beginning, if I take the lining off, when I press down like that, I'm going to start pressing into the cake.
Yeah.
Okay, if you leave the lining on top, and this is just a little tip, and I do think it works, okay, if you just leave the lining on top, it enables you to press it down without actually damaging the cake. Okay, I actually use a spirit level for
I
all
like
my
that
little
idea.
cakes. Okay, and add a little spirit level, and I don't think Carol sells these, but there you go.
No.
Okay.
Put it down to B&Q.
Okay, a little spirit level. All right, and now it's at this point. In fact, no, it's not at this point. When I've frosted the sides, I will then take it off. So, pressing down, all this buttercream that I've got too much of is now coming out the sides, and I'm utilising that to cover the gap. Okay?
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm taking more, and I'm just going to go around. Now, I know somebody's going to ask, why don't you do one layer and put it in the fridge? I don't do that. I just crumb coat straight away, and I'm going to ice it straight away.
Right.
Okay.
That's good. I've got to be honest, if on a cool night like tonight, I would do that as well. In the summer, I would put it in the fridge only because. But I think I actually put a lot more buttercream on than you as well. You don't put a lot of buttercream on, do you?
And also, the other thing is, I and the girls that are on my group know, I have got a real issue with cakes in fridges. I don't mind putting cakes in the fridges for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but people that leave cakes in the fridge, as far as I'm concerned, are waiting for an accident to happen. And the reason...
Jules.
No, seriously.
Seriously not.
I do say
Seriously
that.
not.
I do say that.
Seriously
No.
Right,
And I'll tell
okay.
you why. Hang on a minute.
No.
I'm going to win this
Seriously
argument.
not.
Right, if you're in a hot country, Carol,
Yeah,
and you're in a
Yeah.
cold room,
yeah.
air-conned room, what happens when you go into the heat? What happens when you've been in an air-con room and then you go into the heat? What happens?
Sweat.
You
Yeah.
sweat.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens to the cake?
Well, mine never has.
Mine neither, to be fair.
Sorry, Jules.
Yeah.
I'm not going to agree with you on that one. And the reason I'm not going to agree with you because I've never had a problem. And I'm not a professional, but I've done several tiered cakes and I put them in the fridge and I've never had a problem.
I'm not saying don't
So
put
I
them
think,
in the fridge at all. I'm
Yeah.
on about for a long length of time.
yeah, no, I've even stored them in the
Oh,
fridge.
yeah. Oh, I don't do that.
And I don't have a problem at all. And I never have had a problem. But you know, when I started this live, and I say it on every demo, everybody comes here for tips and hints. You all have your own way of
I was
doing
just gonna
things.
say,
Okay,
whatever
and
works
what
for
you do
you.
is you pick up, you try it. If you like it, great. If you don't, go back to what
Get
you
off.
used to do. You don't get off. But I can't sit here and agree with you because that's your way and that's what
Yeah,
you
I agree.
like.
I agree
And
totally.
I have to stand strong on my way.
There you go.
There you go. There we go.
But you still didn't answer my question. What happens when you walk out into the
I did. I
heat?
said you sweat.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, Shirley said it as well. You weren't listening. You're too busy going on with yourself.
Right, so, going back to the cake then.
Oh, look, they love it. Controversial. Look,
And
they're going
again,
for it.
it is right what Carol says. It's whatever works for you. But I am a great believer.
But you're very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And as long as you're comfortable with that and you're happy with that, then that's great, okay? But I use a lot of buttercream and I put my cakes in the fridge all the time and then I take them out when I want them. And they've never sweated.
I've never sweated.
You said they sweat.
They
Mine
don't
haven't. Mine haven't.
Sweaty.
No.
Sweaty
No.
cakes. It's so terrible,
Sweaty
isn't it?
cakes.
Right,
Sounds
okay, so I'm
awful.
just going to put that one to one side a minute.
Not in the
I'm
fridge.
going to change the subject. Not in the fridge, by the way.
Yeah. Who agrees with me?
Sorry, but I do.
It's right though, because if you have actually got an all buttercream cake, and then you have had it in the fridge, and then you take it out into extreme heat that we've had recently.
Yeah.
You know, they do sweat, and so moisture creates, and they do sweat, and cakes can become unstable. That's my philosophy. I'm sticking with it.
Well,
You
to
stick
be
to
fair,
yours, and I'll
Jules,
stick to
you
mine.
could be absolutely
Yeah.
right, but thankfully we don't have too many heat waves, so I'm not really
yeah,
having a
that's
problem.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not. I would love to be with my daughter all the time, but I could not work in Spain
Yeah.
and make cakes unless obviously you've got it well
Yeah.
air-conned. But transporting them must be an absolute
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Because like you've got the same problem. You're in a cool room and then going into heat in your car.
Yeah.
You know.
I did have to. I've only ever done 2 wedding cakes in my life, and one of them was in August in a heat
The
wave.
cake lace.
Oh,
Someone's just said, sorry, don't
Yeah.
forget the cake lace.
Yeah.
And we have
well
completely
done,
forgot.
girls.
Yeah. Thanks, Siobhan.
It's out, it's done.
It's done.
It's done. Great.
It's cooked. I'll turn this off now. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think we'll have enough.
But that was in hot weather.
Yeah.
But I went and put the air conditioning on in the car, cooled the car down, got the cake in the car.
Yeah.
And I carried it as a 4-tier cake in the car.
Yeah, it's very worrying though, isn't it? It's very risky. Right, okay, now. I do this all the time.
Shelley's causing trouble here. She's thinking of call it. I tell you, she's taking after us, Laura. Shelley.
Oh, it's
What?
She wants to start a poll tomorrow.
Oh no, don't. Start
Who we're
right
leaving
on
in the
the
group.
group.
We'll have a fight.
Oh
We'll
my
be scrapping.
God.
They'll all be leaving the group.
Can you imagine?
She says I'm wrong. She says I'm right. I'm right.
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
it is
I'm
whatever
leaving the
works
group.
for you, isn't it?
I'm leaving the group.
I will say to people, going off the subject a little bit about stack cakes, okay, I get loads of people, because I do make, on average, about 50 wedding cakes a year, as well as like novelty cakes and things like that. And I have a lot of people that, like, they might look at my cake and they say to me, did you take that as it was? Well, the answer is no, I didn't take it as it was. If
No.
you can break down any which way you can, and I can't stress this to you enough,
Yeah.
do not attempt to take a 3 or 4 tier cake when you can break it down.
Yeah.
You just go to the venue a little bit earlier. It
Yeah.
might take you half an hour more, but I can tell you now, if it falls in transit, it's going to take you more than half an hour to put it
very
right.
right.
So
It is very stressful carrying a 4-tier cake
Yeah.
in the car, but I've
Yeah.
got to be honest, it never moved.
well, I must say I have done it, but I've only
Because
done
with mine being buttercream cakes and they all go into each layers, you can't
Yeah.
you can't separate it.
Okay, and the same again with my jam.
So anyhow, there we go. That was a nice little debate. Did you enjoy it? We're back. We're back. We're back.
Back in the room.
Right. Okay. Margaret Ellis is on your side. She never puts cakes in the fridge. But thankfully, there's 50,000 more that are on our side.
Oh, okay.
I like that, Tina Pine.
Yeah.
There you go, Shelley.
Yeah, but I'm
The
not
big-
looking at the
The
screen.
big
I think
fridge,
she's lying.
the big fridge or the the big fridge or not to fridge debate. Crikey, we've started something here
We
now.
really have.
Okay, so my lining is still on my cake, and I'm pressing it down, and you can see that the buttercream is actually coming out the side of the cake. And before I put anything extra on, I'm actually going to utilise that to fill in the gap.
Super.
Yeah, I know sometimes people say to me, why don't you use a turntable, Jill? But I never use a turntable to do
What
this.
you're used to,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's because I'm little as well. It's got a lot to do with it. And this work surface is actually slightly higher than what I'm used to, so if it was any higher, I would struggle.
You know what? There's so many mixed reviews on here. There's so many people who fridge all the time and have no problems,
Yeah.
and there's others who don't fridge.
Yeah, it's funny,
And
isn't
you know, it really is, and that's why I say it. There's no right or wrong. It's what you're happy with. And you know what? I've made a cake and it's sank in the middle, and I've never known
No,
why.
why? Yeah.
Just happens,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and I think we've all done that. So you know, you just have to go by doing what you do.
Yeah. No, that's so true, and we see that on the community page all the time. People saying, "I've used this recipe hundreds of times, and all of a sudden this has happened. X, Y, Z happened." There's no rhyme or reason for it,
No.
and people ask for advice, but you don't know.
No.
It's just one of those things.
Well, Margaret Ellis says one of my favourite sayings: "Each to their own."
Exactly. Yeah, that's so true.
And then we've got, what's this one here? Sabrine, who comes to the shows and sees us, says, let's start a new debate. Jam with or without seeds.
Oh.
Well, I actually use with seeds at home.
And I use without.
And you use with without. However, if I'm having my toast, I don't do seeds. In fact, I don't even do blobs.
I don't. I always use it. I don't use seeds. But there you go, she uses
Yeah.
seeds. But don't have it on your toast.
I actually use a conserve, and it's got seeds
Yeah.
in. And somebody's going to ask, what's a conserve?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
the difference,
God.
quote me if I'm
Go
wrong,
on.
but the difference between a conserve and a jam is actually just the purity of how much fruit is in there, as far as
Yeah.
I'm aware. There's more fruit in a conserve
Yeah.
than there is in a jam.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just literally dipping my palette
I'm not
knife
doing
in
bad, me,
water.
you know, for being a rustic cake decorator. They're all on my
Oh,
side.
they're just creeping. They're just creeping, that's what it is.
They're all without. fridge than there are without. Well, there's a few that don't put in the fridge.
Okay, there we go.
There's not one with a seed yet.
Okay. Right, let's have a clean up then. So we get rid of our water. We'll get rid of our jam.
But having said that, Caroline Thornburn says, you're so busy, you work so fast, you haven't got time to put it in the fridge anyhow.
That's true.
Okay, let's just clear up.
And is your cake sponge, is it Madeira? Is it a
It's
sponge or
Genoese,
Madeira?
It's a Genoese.
Genoese.
It's a nice firm cake. I always say, like, a Victoria sandwich is a no-no because it's too soft. And my personal preference is a Genoese. And the reason why I say that is because I think it's a cross between a Victoria sandwich and a Madeira. It's that in between.
Yeah.
A Madeira is a bit more
Quite
hard.
firm, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's quite
I know,
firm.
I'm not a fan of Madeira.
But
I love Genoese
a
cake.
Genoese is a nice, firm but moist cake.
Yeah.
And nice and easy to ice. Okay, let's get rid of all this rubbish here.
And then when you were smoothing with the buttercream, was it cold or hot water?
It was just tepid water.
Tepid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Margaret, they won't want to argue with you, Carol.
I am.
The next one will be what kind of water everyone uses.
It's
In the garden.
It's cooled boiled water, tepid.
Okay, this is new for me because I keep saying
Oh,
this.
we've got 2 votes for seeds, and we've got a married couple who's divided.
Oh God.
Richard
There'll
and
be divorce
Julie.
on the cards next.
Richard likes seeds.
Oh, no.
Julie says no.
Oh no.
And then we've got who we got here? We've got another seedy person. So, well, that didn't sound right, did it? Men person likes seeds. Sorry, it didn't sound good. Sorry, I didn't mean that in any way bad.
Okay, so I'm going to ice the whole of this cake in white, okay, and I'm going to decorate it in pink. It's nice, pretty and girly. I am using Renshaw's ready to roll icing, white icing. As I say, everybody to their own. I've tried lots of different icings. This is my favourite. I use Renshaw's decor covering paste, I use Renshaw's premium, I use this one, and I use the extra white as well.
We've got no problems with Renshaw. We like it as well.
And I love it.
Yeah,
I've
I think
used it for a
the
long time.
Renshaw extra is extra. It's great.
Fabulous. And
Yeah.
the extra white is lovely. Okay,
Yeah.
and the other thing is with it, if you are doing a deep cake, like a 4 or 5 inch cake, there is a lot of elasticity in this, and it's very, very pliable. I do sometimes use other brands as well, but not many. And each time I try a brand, I always go back to this every single time. So I'm afraid you can't sway me any other way.
No problem with
I'm
that.
a Renshaw's girl through and through.
Good, there we go.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by just icing the cradle, okay? And what your plan is with your icing, at the minute, well, when I took it out, it was all rough at the edges and all broken, very crumbly. But what we need to do is we need to smooth all that out. So I'm going to do this slow, and I'm going to show you something here. So you're not actually kneading it as such because it's not bread, it's icing. But remember, it is icing, so you need to be quite gentle but also firm with it. So I'm rolling it, I'm turning it over like that, and I'm rolling it in.
Okay, I'm just going to drop the height of the camera a minute so that they can see, because she's a bit shorter and they're struggling.
No, not that one. I think it's this one,
Which one?
which I've just moved.
And what I also
As I say,
find
they can't
with
see it.
Renshaw's
Yeah.
is that you don't need to work it that much. And
I'm sure that's a good enough for you.
I think when you're actually icing and you've got a lot to do, it's good that you haven't got to end up with arms like a sumo wrestler.
Yeah, we don't want them.
Okay, although I think mine are going that way. All right.
I've got a belly like one.
Where is mine?
Got belly arms and legs like
I've
one.
lost my little tub.
And I've got the boobs to go with them and all.
I've lost my little tub. Oh, no.
I wouldn't need one of those.
Oh, no.
What have you
What are you
lost?
looking for now?
Tub of cornflower. It's a little silver tub.
That one.
Okay, all right. So I'm just going to put some on my surface. I know these don't need much, do they, normally? But because I'm used to working on stainless steel, I do normally put corn flour down. Some people prefer icing sugar. I never use icing sugar because I think it's too grainy. Again, that's personal preference. Okay.
You can't taste it on the cake anyhow.
No. Okay, so
You can't taste the graininess. It's like with people when they say grainy buttercream. Once it's on the cake, you can't tell.
okay, most of this is going to be covered. I have got one of these boards actually. It's blue. I never use it. I've got a smaller one that I use. You know, if I'm doing some flowers or something like
So
that.
Natasha says she's not good with doing fondant and she missed what you said about kneading it. The
Okay,
dog
well,
decided to jump on her at that point.
Okay, well I'm going to do the other, I've got 2 more to ice
Right.
anyway. Okay, so this is quite a nice thickness. I'm going to we'll do it a bit thinner than that.
Usually about 3
Yeah.
3 mil. And by the way, ladies, I've got the spacers in stock, so I shall be putting them on the website later on in the week.
Okay, and my nice smooth as a baby's bum. Okay, just going to move that out of the way a minute. Oh, I'm just a load of room. And bring my cake in. Okay.
Looks like a pie that at the moment, doesn't it? Looks like a big pork pie.
I'm going left to right here. I'm not going to go right to left. Oh, you know I've got issues. I've got OCD issues. Okay, what I never ever do, I know there's some people that take it from the back and then they lift it up and it comes completely off the work surface and then they might drop it. So I always find that it's easier actually to put my rolling pin to the back, flip it over, keep it on my work surface, okay, and then just literally flop it over the sides. Okay, so I'm going to bring that into the camera.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to smooth that out there before we put it down the sides. Okay. All right, whenever you're smoothing a cake, you should never like go from here and pull it down. Always try and attach the icing at the top. And the reason why I say that is that if you just pull it straight down, it might break. Although Renshaw's icing is fabulous anyway. But
I have to agree with you.
with any icing, you should always try and stick sort of the top down before you start pulling it down. And you shouldn't, to be fair, that is incorrect what I've just said, pulling it down, because you shouldn't be pulling, you should be pushing towards the cake, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, now obviously it's automatically going round. If you've got like a crease, you must pull it out. What I find is you never use your fingers because your fingers give prints. Always use this part of your hands, that's your smooth part, and you're just going round like that. Okay, I'm just going to bring that in like that. And when my granddaughter was born in Spain, I did this as a little homecoming cake when my daughter brought my granddaughter home, and it was lovely.
We've got a debate going on here.
What we?
Oh, God.
Should you use corn flour with marzipan? I don't
Oh,
know.
I know it was mentioned that. I bet that's Carol Tucker, isn't it?
No, I don't
We
know.
had this debate last
Oh,
week.
God.
No, somebody started it. You must use corn flour with marzipan as it ferments and goes mouldy. And then somebody else has put, I think you meant you must not.
Yeah,
But
well,
I don't know
heard
the answer to
I
that.
heard that last week, and some people have said that, but I've
Oh,
always
the
used
same
corn
lady
flour.
actually
Yeah,
has said
yeah.
must not. She's corrected
Yeah,
herself.
and I've always used corn flour, and I've never had
With
an issue.
marzipan?
Yeah, and also recently, I actually stripped a cake, a wedding cake that I made 4 years ago for a christening, and I know for a fact that I used corn flour on the icing, and it was absolutely perfect. So I don't know what the answer is to that. Some people say yes, some people say no.
Well, I've got to be honest. The only time I put corn flour, the only time I put icing on a cake is a fruit cake, and I've used apricot jam.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I've done
Well, shall I
here...
for my green board you?
Oh, I'll buy you another one.
Have a knife brigade in a minute.
Right, I'm sorry, that's the way
Use
it
your
is.
little mini palette
No,
knife.
I have to use my knife. I'm sorry, I told you I've got issues. Right, I'll buy you another one. You can turn it over. Right, so get it right. She's laughing.
I can't. It's got feet on it.
To get it right on the other side, okay, right the way down the side, I use this side of my hands to actually smooth it right to the edge of the cake. Now, if you wanted a guide to where, if you're not very good at cutting, and it's just as important to cut your cake nice and smooth around the edge, although this one isn't so important because it's going to be covered up, but this is what I would normally do. So I'll just go in and I'll just make sure that the icing is completely adhered to the cake, okay, and that also forms a line of where you're going to cut. Carol, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to. I won't press hard.
Good. As long as you don't press hard.
Yes,
For looking on there afterwards. Like all these debates going on here.
God.
What a
What have we
comeback.
started tonight?
Oh no, she's on my side. They're not
Eh?
picking on me. Right, so I've cut off the most of it, and that bit I can reuse, but I'm going to go in a bit closer. Now, what I never ever do is just what I say, go in for the kill first. And the reason why I don't is because if you're cutting round a wedding cake and you need it to be, you know, absolutely A1, top on, you need to just be very, very careful. So I tend to sort of cut away gradually. And when I get to this point, I just put my finger around the edge.
Carol Tucker said, don't be winding you up because if you get nervous, you start farting.
No, that's not me.
You and I are going to get on.
That is not me. That is not me. She needs to be honest. Shall I tell you? She doesn't want
No,
to
she
start.
told everybody. She dropped one, didn't she?
Yeah. That slipped off the board slightly. So basically, Carol Tucker came to my unit a couple of weeks ago, and we was doing. I actually let her frost. I think I was doing a wedding cake, and she's there, frosting this cake. And all of a sudden, she lets out this. I hope you're going red, Carol Tucker. She lets out, and it wasn't a little one, Carol. It was a big.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And she went, did that come out of my bottom? And I went, well, it didn't come out of mine. Okay. All right. We're just going to smooth that round. As I say, it's not so imperative that it's completely smooth. And if you wanted to smooth the inside, just a little trick for you, because that's actually indented in there, and if you just get a ball of icing, okay, and you can smooth it out that way. And that way, you haven't got to worry about trying to get your smoother in the middle. And that'll smooth that out in the
I
centre.
forget to do that. I know that, and I always forget to do that. Yeah.
All right.
I've just been told, is our board a self-healing board? I never knew there was self-healing. I thought it was...
There are craft ones that are like
I
they've got like a gel in them, but I have no idea about the green board.
No idea.
Okay. All right, so let's crack on to the next one then. Actually, I will need...
Do you need
no,
the
I won't.
ovens on
No,
anymore?
it's okay. We're stacking it, aren't we? Straight
Yeah.
on, so I don't need another drum.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to bring in cake number
Do you want
2.
do you want a big drum for them all though?
Yes, please. I think about a 14-inch would be nice. Okay.
You have to be careful, I bend down. Right.
Yeah, don't bend down, please.
You'll have to have this one.
Oh, pink one.
I know. Why did you want a silver one?
Yeah, I'm going to ice it.
Well, you didn't actually tell me you wanted a big board.
That's a
Well, you
16-inch.
can ice this one afterwards, can't you?
That's a shame to ice a pink board.
Oh, no problem. We don't sell coloured boards in here. Use this one.
Right.
What
Okay.
do we do with this now?
So much stuff everywhere.
All right, let's just move this cake out of the way because it's not enough
Right, do you want this oven on anymore?
No, I thought I turned it off. I
No,
did not
the
turn
other
it
one
off.
was still
Sorry.
on. It's alright.
Okay, so cake number 2 then. So we've got a 7-inch round.
Our strawberry milkshake tastes nice, doesn't it?
I love it
Just
how
like
you
this,
say
yeah.
that and you sound so surprised every time.
Because I actually don't really eat it with buttercream.
Oh, well,
I haven't tasted strawberry milkshake and God knows it's not my flavour, that one actually. But it does taste really nice, doesn't it?
Now, normally when I'm icing, I always try and keep it in the shape of the cake, but because I haven't got any room.
Sorry.
No room.
Tastes your fussy, this one, isn't she?
I know.
Comes
I
in,
did tell you I was
causes,
fussy.
causes all these debates. We've got a riot going on, we've got a poll going on, Shelley's getting involved, we've got people farting. I don't know what's going on here.
Potential divorce on the cards about seedless jam.
And, what is it, marzipan and corn flour.
Yes, Christy, the lace come out the oven, you missed it.
Don't worry, it's definitely out on the oven.
Did we show them the second sheet?
No, because it was cooling.
Ah, it's cooling.
It should be cold now, actually. I will show them. Okay.
Pelvy, yes, the chocolate drips arrived back last week. So, everyone, chocolate drips arrived back in the country last week. They arrived last Friday. So they're back in stock if you want those as well. Faye Cahill is back in stock. And I am going to be taking it all to Cake and Bake. So I have another palette of the stuff coming to Cake and Bake, and I'll be taking it there.
I'd just like to say, although we're not using the cake trick tonight, I think it's the best thing.
Oh, it's
ever.
fabulous. It just makes life so
Absolutely
easy.
fabulous. And people go, oh, it's too expensive. It's not too expensive. You can use it at least 6 or 7 times, even more.
Yeah.
It's so worth £1, not even £1, just to do a drip cake. It's just amazing.
I know. I think there's the supplier recommend. It says that it'll cover 3 cakes, but it actually does more.
No, I know for a fact that I had a tub of the strawberries and cream, and I did 6 drips with it.
Yeah, it does do more, to be fair. Yeah. But I think the supplier's just erring on the side of caution.
I'm going to move this over again. Okay, all right. I've just got it to here. So I haven't moved my icing off the surface, and I'm just literally laying it onto the cake now and just letting it flop. Okay, I'm just going to move it into the camera. All right, onto the top first. Okay, with the flat of your hand, round the top. Okay, move your cake round as you go round. Never reach, especially if you've got big boobs, because then you'll mark the cake. I don't have that trouble. Okay, so just smoothing it round the edge like this. And if you've got a crease, never just go in, because if you just go in, you're going to put a big crease in your cake. Okay, just bringing it out, smoothing it round like there.
So the green thing on the table, Carol, is no, it's not Carol. That's for that. Roberta is actually a sugar craft board, and everybody has one. They're ideal. Everybody does have one. Anybody in the industry is doing anything, you use it for everything really. Use it for rolling out your sugar paste, for doing your modelling on, all sorts of things on. Albeit I don't actually let anybody chop their knives on it. I should be examining this afterwards. So
I'm special.
Yeah. But they're great. We do them in 3 sizes. We do this one, we do a smaller size and an even smaller size. So we are going to Cake and Bake in October. I will let you know if I decide if I'm going to Cake International. I would probably say we are. Now they're behaving themselves.
Okay, as long as
I've just got to make sure there's no copy sellers there. I'm not going if they're selling copies at the show. I'm very particular about selling copies. Nifty Nozzles, the genuine Russian pipe and tips, as you know, they belong to Alexander Lebedev in Russia. We are his partner, and we have registered all the designs on behalf of Alexander. They are registered designs, and I am not paying to go to a show where I could be in competition, and that's how I've been with a copy seller, not when I'm a registered design right person. So anyhow, I'm going to get off my little high horse, but we are in talks, and I think it's very, very positive. And how I feel at the moment, I can almost say 99% sure that we'll be going to Cake International.
Don't do it.
Because they're going to be leaders in getting rid of copies. I'm going to be very proud of them. Yes, Jackie Richards, we'll see you in London. We're going to be there. Laura won't be there.
No,
She's at a
I
wedding.
won't be in London. If we do Cake International, I shall be there.
Yeah.
Someone did just ask, do you not spritz water onto the cake before applying the sugar paste?
She needs it. She's got buttercream on it.
Exactly. So the buttercream is still soft. It's still enough for the sugar paste to adhere to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to start off by smoothing the edges round. Some people like to use 2. I just use 1 normally. Smooth it on the top and round. And then I'm going to use, which I love,
Doing the smoothers.
Okay, these are the new ones. Have you got the
Is that the big one?
The easy grip ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the get a grip one. Yeah.
Okay, so they're coming
Do
various
you know
sizes.
they do? Do you know she doesn't do big get a grip?
Giant.
Oh, do they? I don't. I've missed out on that one. Okay. All right. Let me do it this side. Okay. More fingers and thumbs because she's here.
Do whatever side you work on and we'll follow you.
Okay.
That's what I was
All right.
about to say.
So what you need to do is obviously the one with the grip on only comes in 4 inches, doesn't it? So you can't use that on the side unless you've got a 4-inch deep cake, and these are 3 inch. So what you need to do is you need to place your fingers at the end, not apply too much pressure because otherwise at the back, because otherwise you'll mark your cake. Not so important with this cake because it's going to be stacked and we're not going to see it anyway. However, so all you need to do is just bring it backwards and forwards, applying pressure pressure on the edges like that.